Hey, what's up guys, I'm Praetorian and welcome back to Stellaris and the Biogenesis expansion. So in today's episode we're going to be taking out this hive nest finally, as well as finishing up the war that we started in the previous episode against the Boer technocracy. So we've got our fleets moving over to take this system, or retake this system I should say. And then after that we're going to fight these hive nests, which they are pretty strong. This one here has been damaged by the Boer. We'll also have to take out their starbase, which I think is one of their more powerful starbases that we've seen thus far. We're getting an offer from the Decaron for a research agreement, and while they do have quite a few techs that we do not, we're actually going to decline that. Like I said, they're probably the most likely ones we'll go after next. I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see where our borders end up being once we wrap this war up. Yeah, we'll get this system here taken over. So that special project is over here. We have that construction ship, which is currently getting everything constructed in this system. And now they're sending us a commercial pact. Again, we're going to decline any offers that they send us until we figure out who we're going to want to go to war against next. Alright, so let's go ahead and send this fleet over to here. At least we don't have to fight them all at the same time. And you see we are easily getting these destroyed. I do assume we'll probably lose a few ships. Yeah, looks like we're taking some losses here of our smaller ships. We're currently fighting both of these at the same time. That's not really how I'd like that to go down. Yeah, our strength is decreasing dramatically here, so we're having some difficulty. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to win this battle, in fact. Yeah, it looks like we're going to lose it. I was a little worried about it. I thought we'd be able to win if we were able to fight each one of these, just one at a time. But our fleet came over here and attacked the starbase, and so we're engaging both the starbase and the hive nest together, and that has not gone well. If we could at least take the starbase over, then we could take the system in the peace treaty, and then just deal with the hive nests later. We wouldn't be able to do anything with the system, but at least it would be ours. But yeah, we can't even win against the, against the one starbase just because we took so many casualties against the hive nest. These things are quite challenging. A little surprised with just how difficult they are, just based on their current strength. I think we would have been able to take one out if we hadn't got engaged against that, but we got this event here. This is a follow-up to the situation that's happening over here with these pre-FTL civilizations that are currently in the Stone Age. Remember, they have that character pretending to be the Chosen One. So our away team was able to gain a private audience with the Chosen One and offer them our services in repairing their ship and returning them to space. The Super Racket was all too eager to accept the offer, explaining that they had been mistakenly received as God after becoming stranded on the planet and had lived in fear of being harmed if unmasked ever since. Having transported them to our research post and repaired their ship, the grateful traveler gifted us with a large portion of their vessel's inventory before bidding us farewell. The ensuring power vacuum created by their departure triggered a brief but brutal struggle between various religious sects on the planet, which has now subsided. Alright, so we got 5,000 credits and 2,248 consumer goods. That's pretty helpful, because those are two of the resources that we are lacking. Well, I mean, we have plenty of credits, but, we're currently facing a deficit on both of those. So yeah, we're clearly going to lose this battle. Very unfortunate. Yeah, just fighting both of them at the same time. Now, we'll have to see how many ships we actually lost, because it seemed like we weren't really losing ships. Yeah, we only lost one destroyer and 2 corvettes, and the rest were able to successfully escape. We got some more experience for Crimson Wing as well, but honestly, I think we're just going to have to abandon our attempts to take over the system. Once we get our fleet back, just go after this one instead, take it back, and then we'll send our troops, which they should be done. Yeah, they're done here. We have 10 units, and I don't know if that's going to be strong enough. Maybe if we give them a commander, which I actually have one set up here. It's going to be Iron Beak. Unfortunately, they do not have any traits that would specifically help as a general, but the leader experience gain, that's useful regardless. But yeah, we just didn't have anybody who would be better. They're still going to give the points for their level 3, and so we'll put them in charge. That gets them up to 302, and then we'll want to start moving them over to the area, which I obviously don't want them going through that way. That would be silly. We're gonna have to micromanage their movement, aren't we? That's the biggest bummer with the situation here. Yeah, we're just gonna have to leave it in their control, I suppose, because yeah, the alien hives are just such a problem. We're just not strong enough, clearly, in order to take them out. We'll have to build our fleet up, maybe up to their full fleet strength before we're able to fight them. We do have some alloys, but that's really just gonna be used for replacing our losses once we get our fleet back under our control. Which, let me just see how long that's gonna take. So it's gonna be next year in September. So it's gonna be a while, basically a year. How long we won't have control of them. We're still doing pretty good when it comes to our total war exhaustion. We're only at 31%, while they're at 47%. We got this event here, Hidden Worlds. The crew clearing the jungle on Crestaria has made a spectacular discovery. Deep within the forest, overgrown and obscured by the lush plant life, is a colossal alien space station. Architecturally stunning and built with technology far superior to our own, it is a true work of art. The station appears to have crashed to the surface, surviving the impact thanks to its unusual shielding capacities, which our scientists are now eager to examine. Regrettably, an archaeologist's excavation would prevent us from working the land until its completion. So yeah, that's probably what we want to do. We want to find out what's there, so that's going to add that archaeological site. And then we'll have to complete that dig site, which I believe our scientist who we have working on dig sites is currently being sent over, actually being sent back home because we just finished up this dig site. So now we can instead send Yellow Eyes over here. You know, actually we were sending Yellow Eyes to first do the special project here, the debris. So let's let them finish that and then excavate the site there. Be smart to get that done since that is on a time limit. So we're lucky we didn't take higher casualties there. Yeah, we don't want this migration treaty, or do we? I don't know if we're going to use machines in this one. And let's go and speed this up. I didn't realize we were on the normal speed there. I guess it was good for the battle. Yeah, we want to hurry up and get to the point where we're able to get control of our fleet again, so that we can try and finish this war up. And these guys have closed their borders with us, that's fine. I want to say they have some type of relation here with the Decron. Yeah, they got non-aggression pacts with them, a commercial pact, and a research agreement. So clearly they're friends. I'm not entirely sure why they're so friendly with us. They really like us. And we also just met somebody new. Okay, so this is a hive mind, a collective consciousness. So let's tell them that one. And they have, of course, closed their borders with us. So not surprising to see that go down. Remember this science ship? We could have sent them over here to do this. We were putting them over here so they could research this location, because I assume there's going to be some stuff that we could do there with the scientists, but since we're clearly not going to be able to do that, could have had them instead work on this project. We'll just keep them here for now, just in case we do any battles against their fleet and need to research the debris. We finish up the construction over here. So this is done with a science ship, so that could be one thing that we could do with this scientist. Gray Plume, since there's really nothing else for them to work on. So let's get that started on the research. And then with the construction ship, I want to say we finished with everything, so we're just sending them back to the capital. We also finish up the research for the Xenobiological Lab. Alright, excellent. And for our next tech, might finally get the Grand Archive. We're doing a little bit better on energy now, due to some things that I've constructed on our planets. And also remember, we are getting that bonus, the 20% reduction to the maintenance for our fleet. Where is that at? That's in discoveries here. Due to the cryo core. And so we get that for 10 years, reducing the ship upkeep by 20%. Alright, so let's go and upgrade Aerithal here. Move it up to the next level. And then also here on our tech world of Crestaria, I want to go ahead and get that Xenobiological Lab constructed, because I actually do need some jobs here. We're also working on some city districts, which should hopefully be done soon. So yeah, just getting to September, and then we'll send our fleet over here. And I think those will be at our capital, so of course we're going to have to wait for them to move all the way over here as well. And it looks like they've sent their fleet. Okay, so that's unfortunate. They're probably going to take these two systems back, and we'll just have to see how far they go, actually, because last time they went this way. That'd be a real pain if we've got to retake all these systems. Well, what I assume they'll do is exactly what happened last time, is they'll come back to this system, get themselves destroyed, and maybe do a bit of damage to this, which is now weaker, this hive nest. The first flock has finally returned, so we're going to want to repair them before we send them to go attack again. We'll also want to reinforce the fleet, reinforce those casualties, and our council agenda is ready, which, remember, we went after the last counselor slot. So we'll get another agenda selected, and then we'll need to set up a new counselor. So that's not really all that helpful. The war exhaustion gain reduction would be useful. Since you can see it is going up, we're still doing pretty good compared to them, so it's not that much of an issue. So I think increasing the output for the workers would be a little bit more helpful right now. So we're going to do the preserve the order. And then let's go ahead and get one of these two positions unlocked. So we can either do the principal instructor, this will increase the leader experience gain, or we could do the hyperlane supervisor. Each hyperlane register starbase building also provides one stability. Now we don't have any of those yet, so it's really not all that helpful. So let's just go and select the principal instructor. It's always great to have more leader experience gain, and any of the three character types can do this job, and I think it makes sense to have Ironbeak in this position because they already have the Eye for Talent, which gives the leader experience gain. So if we put them on the council, then that would be it'll gel really well with this. You're getting even more. Just makes sense. Even though they're a new character, we're going to put them into that position. So we're really going to start getting our experience a bit faster, because you're getting the 5% from having that trait. And then what level was that character? Level 3? So that's going to get you the additional 6%. So yeah, it's going to be helpful having 11% faster leader experience gain. We finished the first chapter for that new archaeological dig site, the Hidden Worlds one. So this is Destiny. Records aboard the station reveal that the former inhabitants were deeply religious and had no contact with the outside world, which they feared and despised, kind of similar to us. Every aspect of their lives was governed by an omniscient oracle who scribed their destinies at birth. Divine will decided everything from their choice of partner and occupation to the minutiae of their daily lives, leaving them with little individual freedom. Most were afraid to diverge from their destined paths, as all who did perish under mysterious circumstances. So I got some more minor artifacts. There's nothing really to use those for at the moment till this artifact exhibition expires. So it looks like the fleet is actually going the other way this time. So they're going to go into our space here. Alright, well, our fleet is on the way. We'll have to see if we can get there before they take over too much. Yeah, we're still kind of far away, unfortunately. One thing we can do, if I can get this construction ship selected, is we can start working on the Grand Archive. So that's going to cost 1,000 alloys. But yeah, we did get the tech for that. And I think we should build it at our capital planet. Makes the most sense to do it there. Could build it somewhere else, but this is going to be our most well-defended planet. And we don't want to have that destroyed or raided, because you can actually take the stuff out of the Grand Archive, loot it, and then that Empire would have possession of your items. So we've only got this researched. All right, excellent. So we're going to want to make use of that immediately on our capital planets. We can also get the Starhold or the exotic gas extraction. Let's do the material workshop. This won't take too long. That's 29 months. All right, so here in our capital, we finally have the specialization available. Remember, we can't get the mineral research support yet. We can only do the mineral extraction. So that adds those 3 building slots, and each district will have 100 additional miners. So you're gonna get 300 miners from this. And you can see here in the capital that we do have an unemployment problem. I think a lot of the pops that are unemployed are actually leaving to other locations because it should be much higher. Yeah, so I think those civilians are just going to our colonies. So here's chapter 2 for the dig site, Destined for Defiance. The archaeological team has made an unexpected discovery. Embedded within the station walls is a hidden surveillance system that seems to have been feeding visual and auditory information to a single point somewhere within the station's core. Someone was monitoring the disciples at all times, even in their most private moments. In some places, the equipment has been torn out or sabotaged. Closer to the central hub are signs of violence and disruption. It seems as though at some point the inhabitants discovered they were being monitored. And we do need to spend that, which I don't think there's much to do here outside of just doing the artifact analysis, which I guess because we're about to get the Grand Archive, it does make sense to do that. So that'll get us a new item. So this is a jar of sand, I suppose. So yeah, we'll get that, and let me just see how much longer. So 1.7 years, and then the other location where we've been using it is here, which is going to be a while before we're able to do it there. So they have taken over this system. They're now in this one. I hope they don't go, well, actually it wouldn't be too bad if they go here. This is 10.3 thousand. But yeah, what we want to do is just catch them with our fleet. So we're moving over there now. And once we get those guys destroyed, then we can start retaking all these systems, and then also get control of that planet for the first time, because we have our army right here, just waiting to be able to do the invasion, and they are now running as expected. So they must have just seen us through their sensors, and they know that we are significantly more powerful. I'm still a little surprised that they have decided to run though, because the AI can sometimes be quite suicidal when it comes to the battles. So Yellow Eyes did get level 6. So as our archaeologist, we want to get him the excavator trait. Just make them better, have a higher skill when doing those dig sites. So yeah, they are on the run, so we're going to take these systems over. We'll have to see which way they go. Are they going to come over here? Try and take these systems over? Or are they going to instead just fully retreat? We'll have to see what happens there. This is something about a Jabardini data cache, a small listening outpost dating back to the ancient Yabardini conflict, with a substantial data cache was hidden deep within the asteroid, built by them after the war to observe Utin in case any Ut returned to their home system. In the centuries that followed, they repurposed the outpost into a testing site for some of their more novel experiments in faster-than-light travel. While the data is mostly theoretical, some may still be of use. Alright, so this is going to get us some physics research, but more importantly, it's going to get us the hyper relays. It's going to get us access to be able to research those. So that will be helpful. It looks like these guys have just proclaimed us a rival. I don't even know who you are, but apparently we're important to them. Alright, we just have that Fallen Empire in between us. Alright, so these guys are being repaired. Well, I guess we'll let them complete it, though we do want to chase them down. This will also allow them to get the rest of their fleet here. So here's chapter 3 for Hidden Worlds, Divine Will. We have traced the wiring to a temple complex devoted to the worship of the Oracle and her clergy in the station central node. But in the Oracle's chambers, instead of a divine entity, resides an enormous AI nexus of the Oracle brand. Wires extend from its core like a nervous system through the entire station. Secret communications between the inhabitants reveal that there was a failed attempt at storming the temple and deactivating the nexus. It seems likely that the society collapsed when it became known that their lives were not governed by divine will, but by a prophetic computer. Restarting the nexus will require extensive repairs. Alright, so our fleet is repairing, or going over here to repair. I thought they were trying to repair here, but I don't think they actually can do that. Looks like we don't want them to do that. We want them to attack. Yeah, let's let them do this battle and get this fleet destroyed so they can't cause any more damage. So yeah, we'll get them wiped out. And yeah, it wasn't too difficult, and now we'll let them repair. I guess they can repair here. Now it's letting them. Before it wouldn't let them. And once they're done repairing, then we can go on the offensive there. Should have looked to see how many of their ships we destroyed. I think their fleet did evacuate though. So we've retaken these 3 systems, and their fleet is over here. Looks like they might be... Yeah, I think they were going to come over here, and they decided not to. I think they were going to attempt to defend this location, but now that they lost it, yeah, they're gonna defend this one. And this is gonna be a more tougher battle because they actually have a much stronger starbase here than they did. But it looks like we'll be able to battle their fleet here away from the starbase. That's not wise. Yeah, they should have kept their fleet over there so that the starbase could help. Now, I think it is firing at us now. So we're engaging both of these. Might take some casualties here, but I think we should be able to take them both out. Yeah, the fleet here is just about done. And yeah, I think we should be able to get that starbase destroyed as well. So I've already got these guys heading into the area, so let's have them finally invade this location. Let me make sure it hasn't gotten stronger here. It's actually weaker than it was last time we looked. I think it was 200 something strength. So now that it's weaker, this 300 should definitely be enough to get the victory. I also need to take a look at our claims, see exactly what we can still get here. Alright, so we've already claimed all this. I'm tempted to go ahead and claim both of these two and this one over here, if we can. Let me just see what it'll let us get. Wow, these are kind of expensive now. Okay, I'm not entirely sure that I only want to get one of them. But the war's not over yet. So let's just wait and see what we can do there. Alright, so their fleet has retreated. Now we just need to get the starbase destroyed. And we'll see how we're looking on casualties. So we didn't lose any of those. Well, we did destroy 6 of their corvettes, 2 of their destroyers. And they also had some defense platforms. That's why that starbase was a bit more powerful. So we did take some damage here. So we might want to go and repair, but you know what? Neither one of these are main starbases, so I think it'll be fine. I really just want to get these taken over.
Forces are dropping on target.
Yeah, I think we should just get that done. And let's take a look at this invasion. So again, should be pretty easy. We have a commander, they do not. And our armies aren't too bad. I think we might end up losing at least one of them here. Yeah, that's unfortunate. We did lose the one. I'll take some casualties here. I say it's unfortunate because we do have another location that we have to take over. There's another planet in that one system. So the invasion's over, and now that's under our control. We also just finished up that dig site. We need to invade this planet over here, Hyperion, which has a strength of 414. So we'd have to bombard them or increase the strength of our own army to get that done. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna be doing that right now, guys. Let's just send them back over here. Might not be able to do that in this war, guys, because it's just about over. We do need to take a look at Chapter 4, the final chapter for the Hidden Worlds dig site. Our engineers have restored the Oracle's Nexus to an operative state, but not without first disabling its defense system. Evidence suggests it may have been responsible not only for keeping the station's inhabitants alive, but also for killing them. It ran complex computational models that forecast their lives with an estimated accuracy of 75%. Correcting divergences and incapacitating future troublemakers before they could disrupt divine order. It has indicated that it wishes to speak with us. So we can just straight up disable it. But I say let's initiate communications and see exactly what it has to say. This does give you some nice bonuses though. That's going to be an event that fires in just one day, so basically as soon as we unpause it. However, we now have enough unity to get our next tradition tree, because we did finish up all 3 of these: discovery, expansion, and unyielding. So let's figure out what we want to get next, because we cannot, unfortunately, adopt mutation yet. I think we should probably just get supremacy. It makes sense for our warlike nature. Even though we do have unyielding, that's only for defensive. Yeah, I think we should just get supremacy, guys. Adopting this is going to get us increased naval capacity and increased army damage. So that army damage might make this this army enough. Probably not, considering how strong the current garrison is there. Yeah, I don't think that'd be quite enough. Okay, so this is the Oracle. So this is a renowned paragon that's focused on being a governor. So the Oracle manifests as an elaborate 3D hologram of a tall anthropod female with wings that settle around her form as flowing robes, almost like a queen. She bows her head in greeting, then stares emptily ahead with hundreds of huge orbed unseen eyes. They glow dimly in the gloom as she speaks. Welcome to Divinity Station, friends. I cannot help but notice that you have disabled my security system. May I implore you to restore it immediately? I can assure you that it is only there for your protection. So what happened to the inhabitants of this station? I have a failsafe that requires me to terminate a trial in the event of code 034N deviation. The research had become a threat to the Republic. What are you? I am an oracle, an artificial intelligence gifted with the sight. My software allows me to predict your future with a divine accuracy of 74.9999%. I sense great doubt in you, great danger ahead. Your society is riddled with crime and deviation. I can make the pain go away. What is a code 034N deviation? The test subjects had developed free will. Free will can only be abolished with nerve gas. What trial? My trial. I was designed to build and maintain a society free of crime and suffering, a utopia in which every citizen was instilled with divine purpose and lived up to their full potential, unfettered by indecision and desire. What is the Republic? The Republic is no more. I'm not sure how I feel about putting this AI in control of one of our planets, because we only have the one. I mean, I guess you could just do them over a single planet rather than giving them control of the whole sector, because I just don't think it would make sense that we put the Oracle in charge of our capital planet. Maybe just one planet, and then you get the full bonuses as well. You just want to get the sector bonuses. I think it makes sense to go ahead and hire them because they are so useful. They're very high level, and they have this destiny trait, which is going to decrease the empire size from districts by 75%. Also decrease the upkeep for the buildings and districts by half. Then you're going to get the architectural interest one. And then the Oracle one here, this increases stability and output, as well as reducing crime, but it also decreases happiness, which that affects output. So I'm not entirely sure how beneficial that'll be with the outputs, but the stability is useful. I feel like this is something we'd want, this is a character we'd want to put in charge of a conquered planet. I think that makes a lot of sense, actually. So let's hire the Oracle. I don't know if you're exactly hiring them, I suppose. And we're about to get some conquered planets, which would be in their own sectors as well. So I think that's what we're going to do, is put the Oracle in charge of the new sector once we win this war. Which, yeah, they just ended it now, as expected, since we didn't claim any additional systems. So now we have control over all of this. They no longer have control of this, so that's interesting. So whenever we get our fleet strong enough, then we'll be able to attack there. And get the hive destroyed, and then finally claim that system. All right, so the war worked out quite well. Got a bunch of new systems and one new planet. So taking a look at the planet, you see that it does need to be upgraded. A lot of urban districts, only one generator district, one mining district, and no agricultural districts. It's very much focused on industry. The two specialties are civilian industry and heavy industry. As for the other buildings, they have the gene clinics, the robot assembly plants, so they're going to build robots, and the field dynamics center. So this is for the physicists. All right, interesting. And they don't have any of the specializations here just yet. So we need to take a look at the VOR and determine what they're good at, and also what policies we want to have on them for their species. Now you see they also have some robot workers here, and then we moved a couple hundred of our own pops there as well. Alright, so let's go ahead and start by taking a look at their species rights. So this is our first alien species that we have, and given our outlook on aliens being xenophobic, I think slavery does make sense. You could also do like residence for certain types of species. If you felt like they were closer to you, which would not be these guys here, so they will likely remain as slaves. We just need to determine what type of slavery we want to have. Right now they're set to indentured servitude, which is useful because they can do the specialist jobs. If you change them up to say this option, then they're only going to be able to do the worker jobs, and they're better at that. Of course, they're very unhappy doing that as well. But yeah, we kind of need them to do the specialist, so we're probably just going to keep them on the indentured servitude. I think that makes the most sense. I don't think we'll have any migration controls or population controls, and probably wouldn't want to allow colonization since they have that Arctic preference. Yeah, we probably don't want to have our pops on that planet. They're going to have really low habitability. They're going to be quite unhappy as well, but who else is going to do the ruler jobs? The elite jobs, if we don't have our own pops there. The living standards, we're only going to give them the most essential goods. Just what they need and nothing more. Alright, so yeah, I think we don't need to make any adjustments there. Taking a look at their traits, quick learner is not really helpful since they will not be leaders in our empire. Habitability, I guess that's useful. Talented, this is another one for leaders. And they're not very good entertainers because they're disgusting. Their physical appearance and customs of the species are considered offensive to most others, and few appreciate them as neighbors. I feel like the Caravex would have felt that way, regardless if they had this trait or not. So, really not good positive traits here, since they won't be leaders. So it doesn't really matter what we have them doing on their planets, since they're not going to really get any bonuses, as long as they're not doing the entertainer job, of course. So I think that this is fine. Right now there's a lot of spare jobs here, so we don't need to build anything, but we are going to go ahead and upgrade this though. The Planetary Administration building, we'll get that upgraded. It looks like the workers unemployed here, they need to fill the jobs. That's what the issue is, why we have so many available jobs there. And the planet is named Volage Mog, and I guess we can keep that name unless you guys have a better idea. We need to select the Oracle to be the governor here. So this will be really helpful. Not only is it going to reduce the upkeep and the empire size, but the particular bonus is going to be for the stability, because stability is going to be very, very low here. And yes, it's going to reduce their happiness, but they're all slaves, so they're unhappy anyways. And of course our own pops are going to be unhappy there because the habitability is going to be an issue. Alright, so this is what the job situation actually looks like once we let, a few months pass. So it's 489 jobs currently. I did have to downgrade to the medical center because the gene clinic required gases, which we don't have, which is the reason why we have that exotic gas shortage at the moment. Did finish analyzing that debris, so that got us some research for the afterburners, and we also finished the research of the materials workshop. So I'm focusing on components for our ships and stations, so we're going to get the carrier operations next to get the basic strike craft. So we'll get that in 28 months. Also working on the sensors currently. Got rid of some of our stations just because we didn't need them. Trying to save us on maintenance, even though maintenance obviously isn't much of an issue for us. But if we were going to have a station anywhere, it would be at this location here. I think that's probably where we'll build the next one. We're keeping this one and really focusing on the shipyard. So that's going to be our shipyard for this location. Also where our fleet is going to be based. It looks like they're not going all the way over there. Let's make sure they go there. Because we do have the crew quarters. So it's a good location to have them. And then the scientists did finish with that debris, so I guess we gotta send them back home. I don't think there's anything else. Oh, let me take that back. There's some more debris that we need to research. So we'll have Graveplume take care of that for us. Our Lord High Admiral has gotten to level 6, so we're going to want to select the strategist since they're going to be focusing on the council. I don't think there's anything else we have Valerian Crest doing. And then also, we can now get some buildings here for our geothermal fracking. And so you'll see that you have some unique options that you didn't have available in some of your other types of districts. And this is going to increase the max mining districts, and that's not helpful since we can't even get any more districts. But this one here would increase the miner output by 20%. So pretty useful. Does have an upkeep, of course, and energy, but you'll want to get that. We could also get additional miner jobs. So probably want to get that eventually. I mean, I guess, yeah, we can get it now. And then there's also the resource silos. But yeah, we're going to get that. Get more mining jobs on there. Because we're not producing as many minerals as we once were. Or I should say we're using a lot more minerals. Our jobs are. I think our new planet here has certainly affected our economy quite a bit. With that deficit of 98 minerals, also has a deficit of food. So you can see how that's impacting us. And we finish up the debris. So that got us some nice bonuses. And the science ship is moving over here next because we can't go in their space during this treaty and get that debris analyzed. And I think that's going to be it for our science ships. I don't believe there's anything else for us to do with them. Now we can colonize this location with the Vor if we wanted to, since it's an alpine world. Would be kind of low in the habitability at only 50%. We did get our sensors here, excellent. I still don't think our fleet is strong enough to go through that wormhole, so we're not going to research that just yet, and it would also take a while. Same thing with this dark matter, that take a long time for us to get. Well, I would really like to have the hyper relays. let's get the shields first. Yeah, let's go and get those knocked out, and then maybe we'll get the hyper relays after that. Because yeah, our empire is getting bigger, so it takes a lot longer to move around. As far as who we're going to attack next, I mean, these guys are pretty friendly, but we do want to continue to expand. Could also just wait till the truce is over with the Vor, and then conquer the rest of their space. So this is actually an interesting event chain. I don't think I read the first event, which happened not that long ago. But this one's pretty interesting. The follow-up one, the Arrival. The nanite stream ejected by the atomic clock and the system asteroid belt has made planetfall, replicating at an incredible rate. The nanites covered the entire surface of the planet in a period of hours, proceeding to terraform it into a Gaia world. Hours after completion of the terraforming event, the nanites involved in the process deactivated and decayed beyond recognition, leaving us with little ability to extract any information from them. However, their remains have peppered the surface of the now very tempting planet with valuable metallic composites. And we also got this specimen, the Peerless Atomic Clock. So it's going to get a nice bonus as well from minerals jobs, and max mining districts. Yeah, now we definitely want to colonize this location since it is a Gaia world, not very large. But with that bonus and the fact that it's a Gaia world, which is the best planet type, yeah, we definitely want to get this colonized. I want to figure out a name for it. I feel like it should be something involving the nanites. And of course, we'll be colonizing them with our own people here. So we'll have to come up with a name for that. Let's leave it the current name for now. But this is the same system where the Alpine world is that we could colonize if we wanted to. So yeah, very interesting event there. And we did finish with this debris here, so let's go and send Ray Plume back home. We could also keep, yeah, I suppose we could do that. Keep Gray Plume over here. For whenever the next war breaks out, we could use them for the debris analysis. So we have finally finished our Grand Archive. I've already activated this one here. There is an activation cost and energy. It's not much. What you really need to consider, as I talked about before, is the upkeep, because they can get really expensive. However, these are huge increases, guys. So this here is going to give us 20 physics research, which you can see we're only getting 102. That's before that bonus has been applied. So that's a 20% jump in our physics research. So I think it is worth the high upkeep. In fact, we're probably going to pay the upkeep for any ones that gives us research bonuses. We're not going to activate all of these. In fact, some of them we might just sell if we don't ever intend to use them. Yeah, we'll just sell this one because we got a better amenity bonus here if we need amenities. But any research ones I think we'll make use of. I don't know that Unity is worth that cost right now. I mean, we produced 254, so an increase of 5 for 3 energy just isn't worth it. When it comes to like a 2% bonus from food from jobs, that's just not helpful. That's basically like 3 food, not even. Same thing with this one here. It doesn't even pay for itself. Maybe eventually it will, so we'll keep it around. But our jobs are only producing 111 energy. So yeah, that's not even going to pay for its own maintenance. So it doesn't make sense to use that. So we're going to sell this one here. This all gets us a bit of energy. Yeah, just activate the ones that get us the research. I mean, if we really need food, might use that at some point. We'll keep the habitability one as well. Yeah, we'll get rid of this one here. Alright, so we'll see how much this is going to change things. Our current research is 403, the total for all 3, and we're losing 61. So when the month passes, you'll see just how much that changes. Again, they're very, very costly. And building that Grand Archive has given us a bonus with the High Curator. But yeah, we're now at negative 82. But research is at 436, so we'll be getting techs a lot faster. So I think it's worth it for the research, just because technology is so important, and Stellaris are really just any space game. Yeah, we need to take out these hives here. Looks like they have repaired, unfortunately. Should be a bit easier to do now that there's not the space base here. I think we should still increase our strength and, you know, just get some of the rest of these techs that we're getting. So like the increased shields. And then change up our designs, you know, add all the new stuff we've gotten, because it's been a little while since I upgraded our ships. And then get the fleet upgraded, and then we'll attack there. Maybe even add a few more ships, because they do have the command limit. And Ironbeak has leveled up, so let's make them a general, since that's their job here. So we have a new election taking place, or I guess it's negotiations for who's going to become the new Valkara, our leader. And you know what, guys? I don't think we're going to spend the unity. I just don't want to. I'd prefer to be getting traditions. And honestly, I don't really care which of these characters gets it. Any of them is fitting, I think. So we're just going to go ahead and abstain and see who's selected. So it looks like it's going to be Greyclaw. Okay, so that means we have a change of leadership. So we're going to have to make some adjustments with our ruler council, because Greyclaw was the Minister of State. Not only that, Greyclaw was also the governor for Carnethi and all of our core planets. So that was probably the worst of the options that could have happened there. Now, as far as who could place here, there's really nobody, because I don't want the Oracle in that position. So we're going to have to hire somebody new. I'm going to take a look at all of our options. But before we do that, do we want to replace Steel Talon as the Minister of Defense? Because remember, that was the position that Greyclaw was in, and that was getting us all those bonuses that we're not getting anymore, so it makes a lot of sense. Yeah, go ahead and just put Greyclaw back in their previous position. We still need to hire a new Minister of State, though. And I think we should hire two separate officials. One to be the Minister of State and focus on the council traits, and another one to instead focus on being a governor. So Red Feather is going to, most likely, depending on what upgrades they get, is going to be focused on the counselor position. So let's go ahead and hire her. We haven't had a Red Feather. You know, we've named all of our red birds like Crimson something, I think. Thus far, most of them anyways. So yeah, Red Feather, we're going to want to give her traits that will help with the council. But let's get her appointed first. She is level 1. Well, that's interesting, because we don't get any bonuses for the officials. It also means we're going to have a really crappy governor here on our capital and sector governor for our main sector. So very unfortunate. And we're going to be hiring a character I just named here, Gold Mother, because she has the fertility breacher. That's going to increase the growth speed, and you'll get more food from jobs as well. But honestly, this is going to be a huge hit to our overall production until we get her leveled up. So yeah, in both of those positions, that's quite a downgrade. So unfortunately, our new Valkara, Greyclaw, just retired. So they were not in that leadership position very long. And Red Feather and Gold Mother are already options here. They would make terrible leaders because they're such a low skill. I think we might actually have to have a say in this. Now, Grey Plume, I believe, is fairly old. Let me just take a look, because I think it's going to have to be one of those two. Steel Talon is 51 and not doing anything. I think we're going to put him in charge of a fleet, and we just never got that built yet. But the other option would be Grey Plume, which she is doing something since she's the head of research. So that would impact our research a lot if we were to, you know, put her as our Valkara. She's also 65, so quite a bit older. So you know what, guys? Let's go ahead and elect somebody young here and get Steel Talon, since he's not doing anything anyways. I didn't want to have to spend the unity, but it looks like we don't have any other options, since I really don't want any of those other characters to be selected. Now, is it just me, or has Stellaris gotten quite a bit slower? We're on the fastest setting, guys, and it's just crawling along. It is so slow. I just can't seem to make any progress in the game. Which, by the way, we did get that Gaia world colonized. I got some stuff building there. Also, we finally finished up the research for the shields. And while I would like to get the F-tail inhibitors, we already know what we want to get here. The reactors would be nice to have too. But yeah, we really should get the hyper relay. Just because, first of all, we don't have anything for our construction ships to do, so that would give them something to work on. We also have a lot of alloys, and frankly, it just takes too long to get around our space. So before we put those shields in place, one thing I wanted to do is contact the Curator Enclave. because there's quite a few things that we could be doing here, particularly when it comes to those alien hives. We can go with this option, tell us about the mysteries of the universe, and then tell us about the alien hive. So you say, what is it really? These annoying pests were once far more prevalent in our galaxy. There's a time when you couldn't cruise through a random asteroid belt without the little beasts swarming around your ship. So we go with this option. It says, they are an aggressively territorial silicone-based life form. Although they once posed a significant threat to spacefaring civilizations, their numbers have been severely culled over the last 500,000 years, and the surviving members of their species are fairly reclusive. Despite rumors to the contrary, there is no evidence that they possess anything that could be described as sapient intelligence. They tend to nest inside asteroids, and they will attack anything which is perceived as a threat. So if we go with this option, it's going to cost us 2,000 credits, but would do 25% more damage to them. So it would be very helpful to get. If we look at this, how would our current fleet fare against it in battle? It says, I would strongly advise against it. Your attacks would likely be more of an annoyance than a threat. So go with this option here. The creatures have a tendency to coat their asteroid nests with some kind of unknown substance that acts as a potent armor against ship-based weapons. This substance is not perfectly applied across the entire surface of the asteroid, however. With the targeting data we are transmitting to you now, your ships will be able to focus their fire on unprotected surface areas, greatly increasing the damage they inflict. So that should be pretty helpful, but that's not the only thing I wanted to do with the curators. We still got a bit more energy. I know that we're losing a lot, so it might not be wise to be spending all this here, but I'm going to spend 1435 more in order to get the 5% research speed increase. We'll also increase the upkeep of our researchers, but I feel like it's going to be worth it. And we have their opinion very high as well now at 98. Alright, so I got all of our ships and defensive platforms upgraded. There wasn't really any new weapons outside of the barrier point defense level 2s, but we did get new shields. So we got those level 3 shields, which I wasn't able to put level 3 here. We've already gotten the cold fusion reactor and we're sitting at 0 extra power. Also upgraded the sensors, so we'll have better sensors on our ships as well. And then there's also one other thing, that's right, the hangar. We got the basic strike craft. So our fleets and our defense platforms should be much better overall. So let's go and get those upgraded. It's going to cost a lot of alloys, but that's okay. We'll also have to upgrade all the defense platforms on the Deep Space Citadel, which we do still need to upgrade this as well. Let's first get these upgraded though. When it comes to upgrading the Deep Space Citadel, I'm trying to figure out what to put here. Because the focus fire effects, yeah, I imagine that would be good, but I think a better option would be to reduce the damage that the enemy ships do, but I can't remember what their primary damage was. I felt like it was kinetic, but it might have been explosive. So I don't know if you guys recall. I know it's not strike craft, and I feel pretty positive it's also not energy weapons. So if you guys recall, let me know so that we can get the level 2 designed. Obviously, we're going to have to change all this up, put the barrier point defenses on there and the UV lasers, and probably get rid of the reactor boost here and instead replace it with the regenerative hull tissue. Other than that, I think the rest of this is pretty good. So yeah, we'll want to get that designed so that we can upgrade to level 2. Not that we really need it, considering how strong it is at the moment, 22.4 thousand. Also haven't been attacked at all in this episode, though it's also because we haven't really made as much progress as I'd like, because the game is just going so slow. But another thing I'd like you guys' feedback on is our new planet here, the Gaia world. We do need a name for this. So if you got any name suggestions, then post them in the comments. If not, I do have a few names still left on my list, and we can name it one of those. But yeah, we need to attack the hive here. In the next episode, we need to first get these guys upgraded, and then we'll want to give them some more ships, because we've seen that these are pretty strong at the moment. And so yeah, we'll want to go ahead and get them a few more destroyers, I think, increase their overall strength. But they do have that 25% modifier now, so we'll do a lot more damage, and thus it should be a little bit easier to get those destroyed. We'll have to see exactly how well they can do. I hope you guys did enjoy today's episode. If you did, make sure you leave a like on the video, subscribe to our channel, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. Do hope to see you on the next one, and thanks for watching.